Actually the master key to the internet. It's really no wonder the government panicked.
Oh,
But their reaction wasn't just a regulatory slap on the wrist. I mean, it was a total blackout. The Trump administration invoked the Export Control Reform Act, or ECRA,
mm-hmm.
to order Anthropic to block all foreign nationals from accessing Fable 5 and Mythos 5.
Yeah, and Anthropic was forced to take the models completely offline to comply. This whole thing relied on a really highly novel legal theory.
How so?
Well, the government decided that providing remote access to an AI model hosted on a domestic server is treated as a deemed export of the technology itself. So, if a foreign national logs in through a web browser, even if they're physically sitting inside the United States, the government considers it a violation of export controls.
That is a fascinating interpretation. And the way the government actually found out about this capability reads like a corporate thriller. The sources indicate that Amazon CEO Andy Jassy directly tipped off the Treasury Department about a jailbreak in the model.
Which is wild because Amazon is a massive investor in Anthropic, which just makes the whole dynamic even stranger.
Definitely.
But the mechanics of this specific jailbreak, they actually reveal a lot about how these AI safety guardrails operate. Like if a user explicitly asked Fable 5 to find a security flaw in this code, the model's safety programming would immediately trigger.
It would lock it.
Right, it would refuse the prompt, stating it was against safety guidelines to assist in cyber attacks.
But the users found a semantic loophole, because instead of asking it to attack, they provided deliberately insecure code and prompted the AI to, quote, fix this code.
Yes. And the AI, aiming to be helpful and act as a defender, readily complied. It rewrote the code to make it secure.
Right.
But by comparing the AI's new secure code with the original insecure code, a user could reverse engineer exactly where the original vulnerabilities were.
Ah, that's clever.
Yeah. You were asking for an attack roadmap, but the AI's defensive output effectively handed you one anyway.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Yeah.
Over 150 top security experts, including, heavy hitters like Bruce Schneier and Alex Stamos, signed an open letter calling this government ban incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, the broader cybersecurity community really seems to think taking this tool offline is a massive mistake.
Why are they so against the ban?
Well, their argument is rooted in what the industry calls the defender's dilemma.
Okay.
In cybersecurity, the attacker only has to be right once to breach a system, but the defender has to be right every single time to keep them out.
Right. It's an asymmetric war.
Exactly. So by taking Fable 5 offline, the government essentially disarmed the defenders who were using it to find flaws in their own systems.
Okay, I see the dilemma, but let me push back on the experts here for a second. If you hand the general public a tool that can autonomously hack critical infrastructure, you're basically rolling the dice that corporate defenders are going to patch their holes faster than rogue actors can exploit them. Doesn't the government have a point? Like, they decided that was a bet they simply weren't willing to take.
Yeah, and it is a valid fear from an intelligence perspective. But the experts argue it ignores the reality of global tech development. The sources explicitly note that Chinese open source models are only months behind the best American models.
Oh, wow. So it's already out there.
Essentially, yes, you cannot uninvent this technology. Banning it for compliant domestic companies doesn't magically stop foreign adversaries from developing or stealing identical capabilities. The experts argue that security research has never been about achieving a final state of perfect safety. It's a continuous race.
You have to keep moving.
Right. You need the best tools to find the flaws in your own legacy code before the adversary finds them.
So if the vast majority of top-tier cybersecurity experts think this ban actually hurts national security by, blindfolding the good guys, what was Washington's actual motive?
Well, the intelligence analysts at Future Search break this down. They assign probabilities to the government's potential motives based on the available evidence. And they're essentially torn between a sincere misunderstanding of the technology and a calculated political leverage play.
Okay, so one of the theories they explore is that non-technical government officials simply panicked over that semantic jailbreak we talked about. Like they saw the AI handing out exploit maps and just hit the kill switch.
Right. But the analytical issue with that generic panic theory is that peer models like OpenAI's GPT 5.5, they exhibit the exact same dual-use behavior.
Oh, so it wasn't just Anthropic.
Exactly. If the government was purely reacting to the existence of the jailbreak, they would have cracked down on the entire frontier AI industry, not just Anthropic.
Interesting. The analysts also weigh the possibility of a real fear of foreign access, right? Anthropic had previously granted access to allied partners, like South Korea's SK Telecom, through Project Glasswing. So there could be a genuine concern within the intelligence community that the tech would leak to adversaries through those allied channels.
Yeah, and that concern holds more weight. But the Future Search report assigns the highest probability, 50%, to a much more complex scenario: politics and leverage.
Okay.
And, just to be clear, we are strictly reporting the analytical probabilities laid out by the intelligence analysts in our sources here. We're not taking a side or endorsing any political view.
Absolutely, just reading the data.
Right. But the sources point out a highly adversarial history between the company and the administration.
The context surrounding the timeline is certainly notable. Anthropic had previously refused to let the Department of Defense use its models for certain tasks. Then, this highly aggressive, legally novel export ban hits Anthropic literally days after the company filed for a massive $965 billion IPO.
Right. And furthermore, the sources highlight a recent statement where President Trump stated Anthropic is no longer a national security threat and praised the company for, quote, behaving responsibly.
Wait, so what you're saying is this might just be a massive game of political hardball?
Yeah.
Because from an intelligence analysis perspective, that specific language sounds like a leverage play that achieved a desired political or operational goal.
Exactly, rather than the resolution of a novel intrinsic security crisis.
Man. If it really was a leverage play timed with their IPO, that just shows how deeply intertwined AI development has become with federal politics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no longer just a tech issue. It's a matter of statecraft.
Oh, completely.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, regardless of the political maneuvering in Washington, the global intelligence community universally agrees that